Okay, so we're going to talk about the OODA loop, which is one of my favorite, because here's the thing, no matter what you do for a living, even if you've never heard of OODA loops, right, you're probably already using the 4 steps, but not necessarily consciously. And I tell people as a biologist, there's no way for you not, oh, and the black stripe is back. Oh, now
Is
it's
it?
on top. Okay.
It's gone?
There's no way for your body to not make observations. That's all it's doing all day long, right? You step outside, it's cold. You get in your car, you know whether to turn on the butt warmer, whatever, right? So we look around, we assess what is happening, and here's the thing, then we think about what we want to accomplish. You get in your car, you got to go to work or wherever you're going, right? So we come up with some things we might try. We try which of those, we decide which of those we're going to try and what results we can expect, and then we act. And if we don't get angry or anxious at the result, when we are in resourceful state of mind, we observe the results and how skillfully we acted. Then we reassess the situation and come up with the next thing, right? So I'm on my way to work, and let me tell you, I take a back road and I do about 55, 60, which is the speed limit, even though my husband loves to call me speed racer. And all of a sudden, I see a turkey off to the side in my peripheral. And let me tell you something that I know about my area. If there's one turkey, there's probably 20, right? So now I make a decision as to what I'm going to do about that. But a lot of times we're not resourceful. And here's the thing, I could stop the car because I don't know if you know this about turkeys, wild turkeys, they just love to like walk across the road. They don't care. They do not like traffic, does not bother them. I don't know why. And then I think, oh, I've got places to go in these turkeys. But you know what? Honestly, I've come to a place where I roll down my window and I tell them, you guys, you need to be careful. There are semis that come on this road. Please get off to the side. Have a little conversation with them because they make me smile. So when John Boyd created what he created with OODA loops is not a new methodology or framework, right? He regarded this as this graphical image or flowchart. Excuse me, I'm struggling to talk tonight. I'm still getting over that cold. Of what the brain does when it's being effective. It's OODA winning mindset. I want to talk about that. With complex situations or complicated ones, right? If we are prepared to iterate, and that's a big word, iterate. It means something very, if we're willing to change, right? Which means we're prepared to try things, observe them, orient, and come up with additional actions, and then repeat the whole process, we can move toward our goals, whatever they are. So the OODA winning mindset is to go into each situation knowing that whatever we decide is merely the first of a series of actions. So it may work and it may not, and go in knowing that, right? We need to be prepared to obtain feedback for our actions, from our actions. So if you do something and you watch something happen, be prepared, right, to just to use it as feedback. And we need to be prepared to evaluate what our next action should be based on that feedback. So we need to consider how to disrupt adversaries, even our accidental adversaries. And we need to be prepared that we are going to go through that cycle many times. It's called the loop for a reason, the OODA loop, right? We have to do this quickly, more quickly than our adversaries, so that we need to anticipate what might go wrong, find actions that will counteract them, and then in advance, build fluency skills in performing the actions. The winner will generally be the agent who has access to more mental models or can cycle and reiterate through those quickly. So let's talk about simplistic OODA. So simplistic OODA is the simplest form of OODA. It's a way to prepare to iterate. We know that most issues we face, excuse me, or opportunities we want to take advantage of take time, and that we will need to be able to observe and react to events around us. When we talked about the Cynefin framework and specifically about complex and complicated situations, we're outlining the need for flexibility. We also went into some of the techniques. Remember when we were talking about probes? Those are the actions that are specifically designed so that we can observe and reorientate. In the Cynefin section, we learned that things we try should be safe to fail, that we should have a hypothesis about what might work, that we should establish some criteria in advance for determining if they're helpful, right? If you know the behavior you want someone to exhibit, we call them our adversaries, but if we could do certain things. So, and we also get to make a decision based on what we think is the most helpful. Would I have loved this little one to sit up and not throw herself on the floor? Yes. And however, do I want to shame her so that she will sit up? No. Right? So you have a give and take in this lovely little push and pull, right? We also talked about the need for diversity and giving real voice to the diverse elements so that we reduce our blind spots and ensure that we meet the needs of the larger constituency. And we talked about harnessing humankind's instinct for cooperation and collaboration, because these are unique capabilities that have made human beings the alpha organism, right? And the most likely to advance society and our well-being, right? And Mitch, I'm going to show the full OODA diagram, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jane. Thanks, Jane.